You picked up your phone this morning before you said a single word to another human being. I know it. Before you brushed your teeth, before your eyes were even half open, before your brain had technically finished booting up, you were already scrolling, consuming, don't lie about it, feeding the glowing parasite before you'd even decided to be awake. And the worst part? You didn't choose to do it. Your hand just acted on its own, like it's in a toxic relationship and you're the one getting cheated on. Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're diving into the quietly terrifying psychology behind why you cannot physically, neurologically, almost spiritually put this damn thing down. By the end of this video, you're gonna look at the little glowing rectangle in your pocket the same way you look at that ex who was objectively terrible for you but somehow always knew exactly what meme to send at 1:47 a.m. Okay, let's start with some numbers that are gonna make you feel personally attacked. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes. For context, that's more often than most people make eye contact, drink water, or finish a single coherent thought. Global screen time, 6 to 7 hours a day. If you sleep 8 hours, congratulations. Almost half your waking life is spent staring at apps designed by very smart, very well-paid sadists whose entire job is making sure you never ever stop. This isn't a coincidence. This isn't you have no self-control. This is engineering at its finest. Back in the 1950s, behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner figured out the cheat code to the human soul. He put rats in a box with a lever. When it gave food every single time, the rats were like, oh cool, whatever. But when he made the reward random, sometimes food, sometimes nothing, sometimes the rat equivalent of a participation trophy, you could say, those little guys lost their absolute minds. They hammered that lever like it owed them money. Skinner called it variable ratio reinforcement. Casinos called it the slot machine. Silicon Valley called it the notification. Every time you open Instagram and pull down to refresh, you're a lab rat with better Wi-Fi. Sometimes you get 15 new posts, sometimes 2. Sometimes your ex from 2017 liked your story at 2 a.m. for reasons that will haunt you until the heat death of the universe. Your ancient dopamine addicted monkey brain cannot resist. It's pulling the lever forever. The man who invented infinite scroll, the feature that removed the natural, okay I'm done, point from the internet, is named Asa Raskin. This motherfucker. He cooked it up in 2006 in about 2 hours. In 2018, he publicly apologized and said his invention alone steals roughly 200,000 hours of human attention every single day. The guy invented digital fentanyl pretty much and said my bad, and then watched the entire industry mainline it away. That's like inventing fire, apologizing, and then handing out flamethrowers at a dry grass convention. Now here's where it gets full cult. Every cult has its own loaded language that makes outsiders sound like normies. Your phone has one so baked into your vocabulary you don't even notice it anymore. Followers, likes, going viral, the algorithm, reach, engagement, dropping content, feeding the audience, tapping Tom. I made the last one up, but maybe it'll catch on. You don't watch videos anymore. You consume content. You don't talk to friends. You engage with the community. You don't post a picture of your dinner. You bless your followers with a humble serving of vibes. You've been speaking fluent cult for years and you thought you were just keeping up with the culture. And then there's the algorithm. Capital T, capital A. The closest thing secular society has to an actual god. It's all-knowing, all-powerful, capricious. It decides who eats and who starves into digital oblivion. Creators build their entire personalities around appeasing it. They study its moods. They fear its wrath. They sacrifice sleep, dignity, and weekend plans at its altar in the form of reels, trending audio, and perfectly timed posts. They can't explain what it wants. The platforms can't explain what it wants. It works in mysterious ways. You just have to trust the process, bro. If that sounds like sacred science, that's because it is. In 2017, Sean Parker, the first president of Facebook, one of the architects of this whole nightmare, straight up admitted, Facebook was designed to exploit a vulnerability in human psychology. His words, exploit vulnerability. What a two-bit swine, huh? He described the social validation feedback loop. Give people just enough little dopamine hits to keep them coming back for more. Then he basically said, yeah, I'm kind of a conscientious objector now. My brother in Christ, you helped build the machine that ate civilization, and now you're objecting from your yacht. Iconic. Tristan Harris, former design ethics at Google, a job title that implies Google once had ethics that required a specialist, said a tiny handful of people in a few buildings in San Francisco get to shape how 2 billion people think, feel, and waste their attention every day. The goal was never your happiness. The goal was your time, because your time is what they sell to advertisers. You're not the customer, you are the product. A very expensive, self-updating, ad-clicking product that pays for its own subscription. Think about that for a second. You're financing your own kidnapping. Here's the part that should keep you up at night. Though the blue light has already murdered your melatonin, so good luck with that. But when you spend enough time on these platforms, something wild happens. You stop going on the internet and you start living on the internet. Your follower count stops being a number and becomes your self-worth GPA. A post that flops doesn't feel like bad content. It feels like the entire universe just rejected you personally. Psychologists call this identity fusion, when the line between you and your online persona pretty much completely dissolves. Losing the app doesn't feel like losing an app. It feels like losing a limb, or your personality, which is clinically unhinged. But it's exactly what every cult in history has tried to do. The notification badge isn't notifying you, it's summoning you. And like a good little cult member, you answer every single time. And finally, the piece that would make cult expert Robert Lifton nod in recognition: milieu control. Cults control your entire environment. Where you live, who you see, what information gets in. Your phone does the same thing, except it's worse because you carry the cult headquarters in your pocket 24/7 and you paid for the privilege. No clocks in the apps, no natural ending point, infinite scroll, autoplay, every color, sound, vibration, and micro animation was engineered by behavioral psychologists to keep you in the cult compound as long as humanly possible. Your gym has a cult playbook. Your favorite energy drink has a cult playbook. Your phone has the most advanced data-driven, personally customized cult playbook in human history. It knows you better than your therapist. It knows you when you're feeling lonely, bored, anxious, or doom scrolling at 3 a.m. because your life feels empty. And it has a perfectly tailored version of itself waiting just for you. You didn't download an app. You joined the most successful high control group on earth. And the most terrifying part? You're watching this video on it.